There comes a moment in life when solitude becomes less about loneliness and more about freedom. As we age, the idea of living alone, free from the hustle and bustle of a shared home, starts to appeal to many people. For some, this is a path of independence, self-discovery, and personal growth. It's not about isolation, but about reclaiming one's space, peace, and autonomy. This script is designed to explore the many reasons why living alone can bring joy, fulfillment, and empowerment, particularly for older individuals in Western societies. In this video, we'll discuss the signs that indicate you might be ready to embrace solo living. But more than that, we'll expand on these ideas with in-depth analysis and personal stories that bring each point to life. Whether you're in the US, UK, Germany, or France, the desire for independence and control over your life is universal. We'll dive deep into each of these signs and offer valuable insights into how you can apply these principles to your own life. Let's embark on this journey together, understanding how living alone can lead to a life of greater fulfillment, peace, and personal growth. 1. Valuing peace and quiet, a deep yearning for serenity. As we age, the importance of peace and quiet becomes paramount. In our younger years, we often thrive on the energy and noise of a busy household. However, as time goes on, that noise can start to feel overwhelming. You may have spent decades raising children or living in a household full of activity. But now, the idea of peace, of stillness, feels like a welcome respite. Imagine this: you've spent years with the hustle and bustle of family life. But now, when you find yourself alone in the house, there's a sense of calm. You no longer feel the need to fill the silence. Instead, you embrace it. This feeling is a sign that you might be ready to live alone. But why is peace and quiet so important in later life? In Western societies, there's a cultural shift toward individualism as we age. This isn't about selfishness, rather, it's about reclaiming time and space for yourself after years of giving to others. The constant noise of life, whether it's the TV blaring, family members moving about, or even the subtle hum of daily responsibilities, can start to feel like a burden. Take Margaret's story. For example, in her early 60s, she loved her grandchildren dearly, but their energy and noise drained her. When they left, she felt relieved to have her space back. That's when she knew she needed to live alone permanently. If you, like Margaret, find yourself appreciating moments of stillness and feeling a sense of relief when the house is empty, this might be your sign. In modern Western culture, especially in countries like the US and UK, we often associate productivity with noise and action. Yet, there's a growing understanding that peace is not the absence of activity but the presence of clarity and mindfulness. Living alone allows you to cultivate an environment that nurtures your spirit, without the distractions of others. You can focus on what truly matters, whether that's meditation, reading, or simply enjoying the quiet moments that make life rich. If you're someone who craves this peace, living alone could be the answer. It's about creating a sanctuary where you control the level of noise and energy around you. Whether you live in a bustling city like New York or London, or a quieter town in rural Germany or France, having a peaceful home to retreat to is a powerful way to recharge and focus on your own well-being. 2. Enjoying your own company, the power of solitude. As we grow older, we may begin to realize that our own company is more than enough. In fact, for many, solitude becomes a source of strength, rather than something to fear. Perhaps you've developed hobbies that you enjoy doing on your own, like painting, gardening, or writing. Or maybe you simply love reflecting on your day in peace, without the need for constant interaction. One of the greatest joys of living alone is the ability to spend time with yourself, truly getting to know who you are outside of the roles you've played for others. A 70-year-old man shared his newfound love for gardening, stating, "When I'm out in my garden, it's just me and the earth. I don't need anyone to talk to. I find peace in the quiet rhythm of my day." In today's society, particularly in Western countries, there's a growing recognition of the importance of self-care and mental well-being. Enjoying your own company is a crucial part of that journey. We often hear the phrase, "You need to love yourself before you can love others," and that sentiment rings true when it comes to living alone. Living alone allows you the space to reflect on your life, your achievements, and your goals for the future. It's a time to rediscover old hobbies or dive into new interests. Whether you're in a city like Berlin or Paris, where the pace of life can be fast, or in the countryside where things move slower, finding joy in your own company is a universal experience. 3. Strong boundaries and prioritizing your well-being. As we age, our boundaries often become stronger. We know what we need to thrive and are less likely to compromise those needs. If you've found that you're no longer willing to sacrifice your comfort or well-being for the sake of others, this might be a sign that living alone is the right choice for you. Consider Liz's story. She shared her space with her adult daughter and grandchildren. But over time, it began to feel like an infringement on her emotional and mental well-being. She loved them dearly, but they were constantly crossing boundaries, leaving the house messy and making noise late at night. Liz realized it was time to prioritize her own needs and find a space where her boundaries were respected. In Western cultures, especially in the US and UK, there's a strong emphasis on individual rights and boundaries. As we grow older, we become more aware of the importance of protecting our mental and emotional health. Living alone allows you to create a sanctuary where your boundaries are respected, and your well-being takes center stage. This doesn't mean you love your family or friends any less. It simply means that you're prioritizing yourself, which is an important part of aging gracefully. In fact, by setting these boundaries, you may find that your relationships with loved ones improve, as you're no longer feeling resentful or overwhelmed. 4. Desire for more control over your space and time. As we age, the desire for control over our environment and schedule often becomes more pronounced. Maybe you've been sharing a home with family or a roommate, and while you love them, you're ready to fully dictate the flow of your day. Living alone gives you the ultimate say in how your space looks and how you spend your time. One woman shared that she was tired of compromising on everything: what time they had dinner, how clean the house should be, and what shows they watched. Living alone gave her the freedom to make decisions based solely on her own preferences. In Western societies, particularly in places like the US, UK, and Germany, autonomy is highly valued. We often associate success and fulfillment with the ability to make our own decisions and live life on our own terms. Living alone provides this autonomy in a way that living with others simply can't. When you live alone, You have complete control over your environment. You get to decide everything, from the smallest details like what music to play to bigger choices like how to decorate your space or when to have guests over. This level of control can be incredibly freeing, especially for those who have spent much of their lives compromising with others. 5. Outgrowing the need to care for others full-time. For many older adults, the role of caregiver has defined much of their lives. Whether it was raising children, caring for a spouse, or looking after aging parents, you may have spent decades putting others first. But at some point, you may feel that it's time to focus on yourself. One woman shared her story on Reddit about how, after her husband passed, she realized she didn't want to take on the role of caretaker for anyone else. She loved her family, but she was ready to focus on her own needs and desires. Living alone gave her the freedom to do that. In Western cultures, there's often a strong emphasis on family and caregiving roles, particularly for women. However, as we age, it's important to recognize when it's time to step back from those roles and focus on ourselves. Living alone can provide the time and space to rediscover who you are outside of the caregiving role. This doesn't mean abandoning your loved ones. Instead, it's about finding a balance between caring for others and caring for yourself. After years of selflessness, it's okay to prioritize your own well-being and focus on your personal growth. 6. Wanting to age on your own terms, maintaining independence in later life. One of the most important aspects of aging for many people is maintaining independence. Living alone doesn't mean you'll be isolated, it means you'll have the freedom to make choices that suit your lifestyle and preferences. A man on an online forum shared that he didn't want his children or anyone else hovering over him as he aged. He was capable of making decisions for himself and wanted to maintain that independence for as long as possible. Living alone allowed him to do just that. In Western countries, independence is a core value, especially as we age. Many older adults fear losing their autonomy and becoming dependent on others. Living alone provides a sense of control and freedom that is vital for maintaining independence. Aging on your own terms means setting up your home in a way that meets your needs and ensures that when you do need support, you can choose when and how to get it. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, living alone can be a way to maintain your dignity and independence. 7. Craving a fresh start, reinventing yourself in later life. Living alone as an older person can represent a fresh chapter, a chance to reinvent yourself, free from the expectations or routines you may have followed for years. If you're feeling like it's time to start anew, living alone can provide the space and freedom to do just that. One man, aged 67, shared how, after his wife passed, he realized that staying in the same place with the same routines wasn't what he wanted. He downsized to a small apartment, started taking art classes, and found that living alone gave him the fresh start he needed. My analysis and expansion in Western societies. The concept of a fresh start is often celebrated, regardless of age. Whether you're in your 30s, 50s, or 70s, there's always room for reinvention. Living alone in later life offers the perfect opportunity to explore new interests, try new things, and create the life you truly want. It's never too late to begin a new chapter. Living alone can give you the freedom to pursue hobbies, meet new people, and create a life that feels authentic to who you are now, not who you were 20 or 30 years ago. 8. Craving minimalism and simplicity, letting go of excess. As we get older, the desire to simplify our lives often becomes stronger. You may find yourself overwhelmed by the clutter or busyness of your current living situation. If you feel that downsizing and living more simply could bring you peace, this might be a clear sign that living alone is the right choice. A powerful story I read was about a woman who decided to embrace minimalism in her 70s. She realized that she was holding on to many things: old furniture, memorabilia, even relationships that no longer served her. Once she moved into her own space, she embraced a simpler way of life, with fewer possessions and fewer obligations. Minimalism is a growing trend in Western cultures, particularly in the US and Europe. The idea of living with less, fewer possessions, fewer distractions can bring a sense of peace and clarity that many older adults crave. Living alone offers the opportunity to declutter not just your space, but your mind as well. It's about letting go of what no longer serves you and creating a life that feels light, manageable, and focused on what truly matters. Whether you live in a large home or a small apartment, simplifying your life can bring a deep sense of fulfillment. 9. Wanting to make your own decisions without compromise. As an older adult, you may have spent much of your life compromising with others, whether it was with a partner, children, or a roommate. If you find that you're no longer willing to negotiate every decision and long for a life where you can choose what's best for yourself, this is a strong sign that living alone might be the right choice. One woman shared a story about how she finally found the freedom to live life on her own terms after decades of compromise. Now that she lives alone, she gets to choose everything, from the color of her walls to the music she listens to. In Western societies, autonomy and personal choice are highly valued. Living alone allows you to reclaim the power to make decisions that truly align with your personal preferences, without the need to compromise with others. This autonomy can be incredibly fulfilling. It's about living life on your own terms, making decisions that feel right for you, and creating a space that reflects your unique personality and desires. 10. Emotional independence, thriving on your own. Emotional independence is a powerful sign that living alone may be the right step for you. As you age, you might find that you no longer need the emotional crutch of constant companionship. Instead, you've developed the resilience and self-awareness to navigate your emotions on your own, without relying on others for validation or support. A commenter in a forum once shared that, for years, they always felt like they needed someone around to feel emotionally stable. But over time, they learned to find that strength within themselves. Living alone is now a joy because they trust in their own emotional resilience. Emotional independence is a key aspect of personal growth, particularly in Western cultures where self-reliance is often seen as a virtue. Learning to rely on yourself for emotional support can be incredibly empowering, especially as you get older. Living alone gives you the space to continue growing emotionally. It allows you to process your feelings, find peace within yourself, and build the confidence to thrive on your own terms. This doesn't mean you're cutting yourself off from others, rather, it's about learning to find joy and fulfillment in your own company. 11. Focusing on personal growth and self-discovery. For many older people, living alone can create the perfect environment for personal growth and self-discovery. After spending years in roles like parent, spouse, or caregiver, you might feel ready to explore who you are outside of those identities. One woman in her late 60s shared that she had spent so much of her life focused on others that she forgot what made her happy. Once she started living alone, she picked up painting again and felt like she was reconnecting with a part of herself that had been buried for years. In Western societies, there's a strong emphasis on personal growth and self-discovery. Even in later life, living alone provides the time and space to pursue new interests, rediscover old passions, and reflect on the next chapter of your life. Whether it's learning a new skill, picking up an old hobby, or simply spending time reflecting on who you are and what you want, living alone allows you the freedom to focus on yourself in a way that may not have been possible when you were balancing multiple roles. 12. Creating your own routine and embracing flexibility. As you get older, your routine and schedule may become more important to you. Living with others often requires flexibility to accommodate their schedules. But when you live alone, you get to create your own routine that aligns with your personal energy levels and preferences. A man in his early 70s shared how he found great joy in creating his own routine after moving into his own place. He mentioned that he used to feel pressured to keep up with his family's schedule, meals at certain times, socializing when he didn't feel like it. Now that he lives alone, he eats when he wants, exercises when it feels good, and sleeps when he's tired. In Western cultures, personal freedom and flexibility are highly valued, especially as we age. Living alone offers the flexibility to design a life that works perfectly for you, with no need to adhere to anyone else's schedule. Whether you're a night owl who enjoys staying up late or an early riser who loves the quiet of the morning, living alone allows you to create a routine that suits your lifestyle. This flexibility can be incredibly refreshing, particularly if you've spent much of your life accommodating the schedules of others. Living alone as an older person isn't about isolating yourself, it's about reclaiming your space, peace, and independence. If you resonate with any of the signs we've discussed, it may be time to embrace this new chapter in your life. I've seen so many people in online communities talking about the joy and contentment they've found by living alone. It can be a journey of self-discovery where you finally get to focus on yourself in a way that might not have been possible before. So, if you find yourself yearning for quiet, relishing your own company, or feeling the need for more control and autonomy, consider the possibility that living alone could be exactly what you need at this stage in life. Trust yourself and know that it's okay to prioritize your own happiness and peace. Feel free to share your own thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to help us reach more wonderful people like you. Thank you for watching.